Hello everybody out in cello land. Today we're going to talk about faking. What exactly is faking and how do we do it? "90% of my studio is made up of adults, and I have found that my adults are very conscientious when it comes to playing notes on the cello. The type of faking that I'm talking about will allow you to free yourself from the write or die mentality that can paralyze us in orchestra. It will allow you to contribute in a meaningful way to your ensemble at the tempo that you have to be moving at. Usually really fast. Faking for me is not airbowing, like the string player equivalent of lip syncing. Faking is actually just prioritizing certain notes so that you can keep up with the ensemble. It can also help you not stress out over playing wrong notes. I really wish we had little tiny microphones we could put on every person in the orchestra so you could hear all the little individual mistakes that are made in the string section. I think it would be very eye-opening for people because a lot of my students tell me that everyone around them is playing everything perfectly, but it's not true. The other good thing about faking is that it helps balance out the slow practice that you do all day long. You'll see that this is practice that you do fast. So, the first step in successful faking is figuring out what passages are ones that you can fake. Basically, you should not try to fake any passages that say solo or soli on them. And you shouldn't try to fake melodic passages. But usually, there's gonna be a place in the music where there's a bunch of 16th notes that are just really rapid and crazy, or there's gonna be something that I call a smear that goes from one note to another note, and it's just basically the scalar passage that goes up. Those are very good candidates for faking. So for a little smear, like you see here, I obsess over the starting note and the ending note. So instead of worrying about every single note in between, I really just worry about the beginning and the end. So, and then everything in between, I just kind of move my fingers. And that actually works better than trying to get every note, because sometimes I'll end up a little bit sharp on that or whatever, whereas if I'm just trying to nail that top note, it works better. When you're really just worried about your priority notes, in this case it's the first note and then the one that you end on, that frees you up to not worry as much, and you actually end up playing more notes than you think you could in the first place. But let's say you have a longer passage of 16th notes or 32nd notes or something really fast and you just feel like you can barely hang on an orchestra. Well, there's something that can help you, and I think you need to practice doing it at home before you attempt it in orchestra. For these longer passages, we can use a favorite technique of mine that I call fence posting. It's like a fence post. You know, you prioritize certain regular notes and then just sort of let the notes in between just sort of hang between them like little wires connected across the main notes. So again, it's a prioritization of certain notes. In this passage that we have here, the first thing that you want to do is get really good at training your brain to look at the first of every 4 notes. So this is the fence posting technique. You're thinking about the first of every 4 notes. So in order to do that, you would set your metronome on the tempo that they're going to be playing it in the orchestra. So pretty fast.
1, 2,
in this
3,
case.
4, 1, 2,
and then you're going to just start naming the first of every 4 notes.
3, 4,
D, D, B, D, F sharp, D, G sharp, B, D, D, B, D, F sharp, D, G sharp, B. If you can't do it at this tempo, then start at a slower one and gradually work your way up. Once you're done with that step, then you move to just playing it on the cello. So when you move to the cello, the first thing you got to do is get your bow used to playing in that rhythm. So usually it's going to be a really fast rhythm. So you got to get your bow kind of used to doing that. And you might even want to get a little bit of more sound on the first of every 4 notes so that it can help you fence post. So if you're confident in getting the first of every 4 notes, you make that one really loud, and then the rest of them can kind of be less loud. So then you turn your metronome on.
1, 2.
Make sure it's at the tempo that you would be going once your bow has got the idea of how fast it needs to go. And then you literally just worry about the first of every 4 notes. By the way, I was just playing that at 120, and it actually should go more like at 182 or 183, something like that.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
So even faster.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1,
So it doesn't sound so good at first, but you'll find that
2, 3.
that eventually you end up getting more notes than you ever thought possible. But it allows you to stay with the orchestra, stay with your ensemble, hit the highlights, get the fence post notes, and then you can fill in the gaps as it gets more and more familiar to you. But basically that is fence posting, and it is something that I think everyone should work on because it really helps you end up actually playing a passage that you never thought you could play at such a fast tempo. So everyone, please give it a try. Faking is not unethical. It's just a survival skill that we all need to learn, and it's really going to help everyone out there that plays a string instrument, especially you adults who feel like you have to get all the notes right. Free yourself, and you're going to do so much better in the ensembles that you play in.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.